there. It should be queued up. Their exhibit. Or computer. Wrong computer.
There you go.
Okay, I kind of want to start out where this incident started. Your testimony was that you were traveling down, I believe this is Kalamazoo Avenue, correct?
Correct.
And that's when you saw Patrick's vehicle traveling too slowly.
It was traveling slowly. I
It's
wouldn't
traveling
say-
slowly.
Yep.
Nothing crazy about that, just traveling slower. What's the posted speed limit here?
It's only 25.
So it's traveling slower than 25.
Yeah, I believe so.
So then it turned on Orville,
I believe
correct?
so. Yep.
And it wasn't concerning enough that you continued to follow it.
No.
Okay. But you were close enough. How close were you to the vehicle, Patrick's vehicle? Car length?
Probably.
I mean, you had to see it. I mean, it's,
Yeah. It was hard to see, so
you
I
turn-
was pretty close in order to read the license plate.
Okay. So it turns right in Orville, and you continue on down Kalamazoo.
Correct.
And that's when you figure out it's a bad plate.
Correct.
So by the time you get all the way down here, you do your own right turn and come back up, he's still up in this area. He wasn't even all the way down, right?
Correct.
So it's not like he accelerated, not like he was trying to take off from you. He was still driving pretty darn slow because that's a farther distance to travel, right?
Correct.
And you travel, turn, and come back up, and he still was kind of poking along.
Correct.
So it wasn't like he was evading you at that point in time.
I don't think so.
I mean, you've had cars, you've been doing this long enough, people turn and then they try and take off, right?
Yes.
So he does a number 2 right turns after that. So you're saying 2 right turns are suspicious?
I would say in that manner, we're not sure where he is going at that time. Yeah, it does seem
That's
suspicious.
suspicious, just 2 right turns. Not
Not-
speeding.
Not necessarily. I mean, that's taken out of context, but
Contact.
2 right turns in and of itself. I mean, we're traveling south, and then we're heading back north again. Upon seeing the side of my cruiser, and yeah,
Now, I think you can switch back over to mine, please. Now, when I get into this, I want to make sure I'm using the same thing. You did a statement to Michigan State Police after this occurred, didn't you?
I did.
I want to make sure I'm referring you to this. I'm going to show you this. You recognize that?
Yes.
You recognize that as your statement?
Yes.
And this is a type statement?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you sign that? This is your signature on it.
For I think.
I have the same problem.
Yeah.
Your handwriting is as bad as mine.
Yep.
So for what? For, I said
15.
15?
That would be my guess.
So this is
22.
22? Okay,
Yeah.
so this happened on April 4th.
Yep.
Did you type this statement?
Yes.
Okay, you typed it. And then you signed it on the day you got finished typing with it?
No.
When did you sign it then?
I don't recall the date of it being typed and it being signed and sent. I don't remember.
At least a
the-
few weeks after this happened.
Yes.
So you had time to think about what happened.
Yes.
You had time to go over what happened.
Yes.
Did you go over the videos, any of the videos before you wrote this statement?
I did. Yes.
So you reviewed the videos.
Yes.
So you present this, and you're going to be this truthful, right? You want to be truthful because you're providing the Detective Tubergen and the Michigan State Police about your version of what happened, right?
Yes.
All right. So in that version, you said Patrick came out with a bladed stance.
Yeah.
Okay, a bladed stance we heard yesterday. It was like, that's protecting a gun, protecting something like that. That's what,
It could. Yeah. It could mean that. Yes.
or maybe trying to fight, right?
Yeah.
This is Exhibit 3, Your Honor. Where's the bladed stance?
When initially he opens the door, that's how I perceive that.
All right, go back. Can you maybe dim the lights, please? So at that point in time, that's a bladed stance, so you think he's going to fight or may have a gun?
I'm not saying that. It's just the way he was standing.
So right there, you think that's bladed like he's maybe gonna do something.
It's definitely a different perception than the perception I had.
That's a different perception than the perception you had?
Yeah, because it's a different angle.
This is exhibit 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, exhibit 2, I did switch off. Thank you. So there's a different angle, so now you're saying you perceive it as this bladed stance, like he may fight or have a gun.
He just took a bladed stance, and it looks significantly different when you're in my position to the left of that.
So that would be more your body cam.
Yeah.
Now we're on exhibit 3.
Back in exhibit 3, yeah. So you're saying those two different views here.
To me, they appear different, yes.
You can turn the lights again, please. So taking this bladed stance, you've heard from Officer Door, that raises the level of suspicion, right?
It's something to be aware of, yes.
Because this in itself, I mean, how many traffic stops have you done for improper plates? I'm not
sure.
Hundreds.
Yeah, probably.
Tons of them. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
common stop. So this is a common stop. And this is improper plate. So somebody getting out, and by your version saying bladed stance, you're anticipating something bad then.
Him getting out of the car, I'm anticipating some kind of level of resistance, whether it's just verbal or him actually taking off running.
So then when he gets out of the car, you approach him. We're not going to go through everything there. But at some point in time, you say he doesn't speak English. You can tell he doesn't speak English.
I didn't say I
Excuse me, you thought he may not, because there's maybe a communication gap.
I was worried in the sense that there may be a communication gap because he hadn't responded to my commands yet at that time. And my perception to what was said, I didn't quite understand what he said, so I wanted to clarify and make sure he spoke English.
Do you speak English? Is that something that helps people that don't speak English understand English?
I think so, yeah.
This does?
I think it's a way.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but for the record, the prosecutor is using a hand gesture and opening and closing his right hand. I just wanted to do that because you were like this. So I just
Sure.
wanted to make it clear for the record. But go ahead.
So then he answers he does speak English.
Yes.
Now, we want to go back, it's continuing on. Obviously, he doesn't have a driver's license, so having a driver's license, that's something that happens hundreds of times, correct?
Yes.
Right. He does have his driver's license, and then he shuts the door and begins to walk away from you. That's what you wrote here, back in April. He walks away from you.
Yes.
Now, in your testimony, you said that's when you went hands-on, and you said he had balled fists.
Yeah, he walked away, and when I went to put hands on, you can see that his fists.
You didn't put that in your written statement, though.
You're correct. Yeah, I don't think it's in there. Yeah.
You had a couple weeks. You forgot about it then, but now you remember it now that he had balled fists?
It seems as though when I see this video quite a few times, yeah, there's things that I notice more.
So
Yeah.
things that you notice or that you perceive from the video that you now can add in terms of what happened.
Yeah.
Your statement at the time is once again, so he walks away from you, you grab Patrick's right shoulder, which you proceeded to turn away from me and resist my attempts to place him into custody. Okay? That was your version. So he walks away from you, he turns away from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you wrote.
If that's, yeah.
Would you like it if you want to
Sure,
take
yeah.
take a look at it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then he ran away from you, right?
He did. Yep.
Continued to run northeasterly from the traffic stop. So he ran away from you.
Well, yeah, he's running
Yeah.
away from
Understand?
me.
That's
Yeah.
what you wrote.
Yeah.
So then you had to tackle him. I want to continue on, kind of moving ahead. After you tackled him, you wrote.
Are we reading statements?
Yeah, I am. This is his statement. It's a prior consistent statement. I have to confront him with it.
It's not inconsistent with this testimony.
I'm getting to it.
I didn't hear it, so I'll reserve the objection to this.
Okay. You wrote, after you tackle him, you did not comply with your commands as he was continuing to move his arms and legs in an attempt to get away from me.
Objection? I don't think this is the proper way he's trying to impeach here. As far as he asked the witness if this refreshed his recollection.
I don't think he's trying to refresh his recollection.
No.
He's trying to impeach him with a prior inconsistent statement.
I don't think it's inconsistent, but
He never testified that Patrick was trying to get away from him. Correct?
I'm sorry, what
He
was
never testified that Patrick was trying to get away from him. Never said he was moving his arms and legs, trying to get away.
Turned and ran away from him?
I don't think that, well, I'll overrule the objection because this is cross-examination. He's reading what he previously stated, and to the extent that the jurors find that it's not consistent, I mean, it appears that it is a bit consistent because he didn't say what that statement says, so.
You did not testify that he was trying to get away from you. You testified you struggled, but in your statement, you recognize that he was after you tackled him, he was continuing to move his arms and legs in an attempt to get away.
So, what is the question exactly?
That's what he was doing. He was trying to get away, wasn't he?
I would say that he was moving his arms in a manner that struck me in attempt to get away. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's.
Yeah, but you didn't testify to that, but that's what you wrote back in April, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Further along after that, you attempted to.
Are we just gonna read the whole statement? I guess this
Yeah.
doesn't seem like
Your whole testimony, you never testified you tried to get away from me, right?
I think saying that he ran from me would be him
That's
trying.
one.
Yeah.
But in your struggles with him, we're talking about now your struggle with him. After you tackle him, on two separate occasions in your written statement, you recognize he was trying to get away from you.
When
Didn't
I
you?
tackle him,
After you tackled him.
well, he's. I think that, I mean, that's the goal of the suspect or the driver in this
Well,
situation is.
that's-
I mean, typically when we go to arrest people, especially people that are fleeing on foot, yeah, I guess their goal is to get away from us. That's
Sure. Okay, the goal is to get away from you, but you even recognized that back in the time. In two separate occasions, you said he's moving his arms and legs to try and get away from you.
Yeah, I mean,
He didn't assault
I
you.
don't think what. Well, he did.
Well,
I think.
that's-
I don't think I'm saying anything different then.
Well, that's your interpretation.
Yeah.
But back there, you never said he assaulted you, never said he punched you, never said he kicked you. Every time, 4 different occasions now in your written statement, he's trying to get away from you. He's moving his arms and legs, trying to get away from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not saying he punched me.
Yeah.
I'm not now. Is what?
And you're not saying he kicked you,
No.
right?
Correct.
Not saying he threw an elbow,
Correct.
not saying he bit you,
Correct.
not saying he headbutted you,
Correct.
not saying he did anything else but try and get away.
I wouldn't use that blanket statement.
Now, in your testimony, we're going to move ahead to the time where you said he grabbed your taser. You testified in the jury, he grabbed your taser.
Yes.
He grabbed your taser and moved it away from him because he didn't like it tased, right?
I don't know what his intention was.
Well, you want to go back to your written statement back in April? Let's
Sure.
take a look at that. What did you write then?
Yeah. Moved it away from him.
We'll continue on.
Grabbed the body of the taser and moved it away from him.
So he would not be struck with either of the probes. That's what you wrote. You wrote that back and you just, you didn't even read it when I showed it to you. Why are you leaving that out?
I was reading the beginning. I thought that's what you.
So even then, it wasn't he was grabbing the taser to take it away from you. He was trying not to get tased.
I don't think you want to. No.
Well, nobody wants to. I'm not even,
Right, yeah.
Tasing is not pleasant.
Correct.
Tasing is not fun.
No.
And I think you said, even in your thing, that tasing felt terrible.
Yeah.
Okay? So nobody's going to want to feel that. But something feeling terrible doesn't mean you can kill him, right?
No.
Because you would agree with that, because that's not part of Grandma's policy.
Correct, just that statement.
You go a little bit further. Still on your body cam, exhibit 3. We'll play it for just a little bit. And I think I have sound that's, you've heard it enough, so that's fine.
Did you say it was exhibit 3 again?
It is, I have a 3 on mine. It says up there. I'm gonna stop right here, because now, once again, you tackled him, he's gotten up, and he's walking away from you, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to walk away from you.
I'm holding on to him. He's pulling
You're
us
holding on.
across the yard.
So as he's walking away from you, you're about a minute, I got a minute and 4 seconds or so into this?
Into the altercation.
Into the incident, correct. After you start running.
Okay.
Now, at this point in time, where you say you're exhausted.
Yeah, I really don't know how to describe it. Yeah.
I just want exhausted by my definition means it completely or almost completely deleted. No resources, no energy. You're exhausted already.
Yeah.
Okay. This is after 1 minute, and you said, we have heard in your opening statement that we heard you were an All-American cross-country runner, but now you're an All-American sprinter?
I wasn't All-American cross country. No, I was just All-American track.
That's why, because, well, the opening statement was All-American cross-country.
Yeah,
That's why I clarified.
I think she misspoke and said.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We all do it.
Yeah.
So, but you're an All-American track, but it was only sprints.
In sprinting events, correct.
What was your longest sprinting event?
Well, would you like me to go through
Just
what I
what's
did
the longest one?
that I would participate in?
Yeah.
Well, the longest event that I'd participate in would be the 1500,
Okay.
but I wasn't, which is 1500 meters.
Sure. But going more recently, in 2022, you were trying out for the SRT, or were you in the SRT in 2022?
I believe I was
You took a fitness test,
a
didn't you?
fitness test. Yep.
You ran 1.5 miles,
Yep.
and you're like 11 minutes or so, a little over 11 minutes, I remember.
I don't recall.
But you're in the top 70% of Grand Rapids Police in fitness level for that run, weren't you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
You did like 65 push-ups and 55 sit-ups in the allotted time, which puts you in the top 90%. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, that sounds correct.
So you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Even though we all get older, but you're in pretty good shape.
Yes.
So at that point in time, what you had done is you tackled them, right?
Yes.
Did you do a forearm strike?
I don't believe so.
Well, I'm gonna go check the right one. Now you did a kind of a follow-up statement, correct?
Yes.
This was, it looks like May 13th. There were some additional questions from the troopers, so they had to fill out additional forms, right?
Yeah.
Answer those questions.
Oh, all of them? You want me to go through all
No,
of them?
but this is your statement from the May. You
Yeah,
recognize that.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I guess I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
That helps refresh your recollection?
It does, yeah.
So in the recollection, you said the modes of force used was a forearm strike, just one.
Yeah.
Right? Knee strikes, plural, and a tackle.
Yes,
Those are the 3 uses of force you used before going to the taser.
correct.
Now, in terms of this time, one of the justifications it says, you said you're exhausted. You said you're outnumbered, right?
Yeah,
You were outnumbered when you started this, right?
I was, yes.
You knew you were outnumbered when the moment it started.
Yes,
Okay? You knew there's another person in that car.
yes,
You had no idea what was in that car,
Correct.
other than that person.
correct.
we've heard your training is unknown traffic stops, right?
Yes.
Unknown traffic stops, that there could be guns in the car,
Yes.
there could be guns on the person,
They're good.
okay? And you're treating anybody that could be in an unknown traffic stop, they may have a weapon.
They may have one.
And you should treat them as such, right?
I wouldn't say you should treat them as such, because that's a little different than they may have one.
Okay.
Treating someone as though they have a firearm, you should be aware of that possibility.
You should be aware of that possibility. It's something that worries you, because you said guns was one of the big things right there, being in the car.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely what we're investigating.
And, this is something, even going back to your days of training, Exhibit 37. This is some of the,
Your Honor, could I please see that?
sorry to admit it.
I don't know what it is.
Take it. You guys have shown us that. You guys haven't shown us that the whole time, so. You've had a copy of this. This is going back to Exhibit 37, going back to recruit school.
Okay.
Okay. There's 4 scenarios on there, right?
Yes.
All 4 scenarios involve somebody with a gun, or something with a gun related to a vehicle stop, right?
Yes.
So you're aware of that sort of training when you undertook this chase, right?
Yes.
I'm going to show you now, show opposing counsel what has already been admitted as Exhibit 36. We got a copy of your training records. This is 1902, second training in 2019. Do you recall having this training regarding a Seattle PD officer-involved shooting after a foot chase?
I don't recall it.
You-
Off the top, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm
Sure.
sure it's been a long time.
Sure.
But-
So it was a long time, 2020, so would you have forgotten that, where it says to allow a safe distance and have a plan while chasing an armed or potentially armed suspect?
No, yeah. I
Let's
just
see.
don't recall the training. Like, I just don't.
But
It's
you
been-
recall that?
Oh, 100, yes.
That's one of the things you would have known when you started chasing back in April of 2022, right?
Yes.
Going hands-on or tackling someone who is known to be armed is bad tactics, right?
Yes.
Mr. Dodge asked you questions about is disengaging. He said in the policies a lot you're not supposed to disengage. Is that
Our main goal is to effect an arrest.
the main goal? But you're not prevented from disengaging if it's tactically advantaged, right?
There could be times to disengage, correct?
So that's why I want to make sure there's no policy that says you have to remain engaged and do whatever and keep fighting. You can disengage if it would make sense and tactically remove yourself to get a better advantage, right?
Correct. I'm not, want to be clear in the sense, we're trained to stay engaged, but yes, there may be, depending on the circumstances, yeah, you may need to
Sure.
disengage.
And that's the thing, that's what we heard all over the place, depending on the facts and circumstances.
Correct.
All the facts are taken everything into account at the time.
Correct.
We're going to put exhibit 32 up on the screen. Next we go to 911. Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear, because you said something, well, there's certain things that you know, policies depend or depends on the circumstance. You have no doubt that you're under 911, paragraph 3, use of deadly force only defended against themselves, another officer, or another person, right?
Correct.
When a reasonable threat of death or serious bodily injury, that's the only time you can use deadly force.
Correct.
And you're fully aware of that at the time back in April.
Yes.
I go, okay? Totality of the circumstances, this was the policy in effect. You're fully aware of this totality.
Yes.
Now, we've heard, one of the factors is exhaustion of the officer, injury to or exhaustion of the officer, right?
Correct.
You've heard over and over, you were exhausted,
Yes.
but you weren't injured.
No.
We had pictures, and you had a little scrape on your arm.
Correct, but not like,
Didn't go to the hospital, didn't go to the med center.
correct.
So you were tired on one, but not injured on the other.
Correct.
When you look at all the other circumstances in terms of the relative size and stature, Patrick was bigger than you, right?
Yes.
There's multiple people when you started this incident, right?
Yes.
He was stronger than you because we saw in the video that he kind of picked you up when he pushed you.
Yeah.
You didn't know he had access to weapons. There was a car there. You didn't know he had any weapons. You could have access to weapons, right?
He could have.
You don't know.
I don't know.
But still, with all those things, you made the decision to chase him around the car.
I did, yes.
Now, one of the things he said, they kept on saying, well, resisting arrest is a felony violation. Right?
I believe they talked about that.
There's your cross.
Yeah.
But simply committing a felony isn't enough to use deadly force, right?
Correct, no.
Ignoring your commands is not a reason to use deadly force.
No.
The only reason you use deadly force is when you believe you're going to be killed or seriously injured, right?
Correct.
Now, in terms of that, you said, and when it comes down to the time you fired the shot, you can't even say that Patrick pointed the taser at you, can you?
No, he didn't get
He never pointed the taser at you.
No, he didn't
You
get
thought he might.
Correct. I felt as though he was turning towards me with
Yeah.
it. But, he didn't actually.
Didn't actually do it.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. I'm going to use the taser, Exhibit 23.
Yep.
When you say, you said in your statement too, you said he was blocking the safety switch, right?
Yeah.
So red is when it's armed, and then that's when it's unarmed.
Correct.
So when he's down on the ground, his thumb was blocking it?
No, here, I'll show you.
Yeah,
So he was holding it more so like this.
like that.
And I could see the red.
You could see the red.
Yeah.
You're in this life or death struggle, and you could see the red?
I could.
You perceive that?
Yeah, I remember when I was fighting over it. I remember seeing essentially this formation where I could see the red and the switch, and that's basically all I could see at that time.
But then his hand's like this.
Yeah.
His hand's like this underneath him? It wasn't like this?
It may have been in the video, but there's time where this is the way I saw it.
Okay, so you agree that in the video, it looks like his hand's on there like this,
When
but you're saying it's like this.
correct.
That's how you perceive it.
Well, yeah. There's parts where you can't see it.
But you're not arguing that Patrick knew how to operate a taser, are you?
I would say it'd be pretty simple to figure out
So you think he was actually trying to hold that open?
to hold.
Hold the taser to make it, keep it locked?
I think it's just a normal position to have your hand on it.
Okay,
I'm not saying that. Yeah.
All right. So I want to go back to that. So now you say you saw the red, so you knew that it was still active.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that. So during this incident, you actually heard Wayne Butler, the resident, come out.
I remember him coming out. Yep.
Well, you wrote, you heard the resident exit the house and tell Patrick to comply with commands. That's what your statement, right?
Yeah.
So you heard that. You noticed a passenger exiting the vehicle.
Correct.
You didn't hear any sirens indicating more units around the way. You didn't hear anything. I think you testified to that, right?
Yeah.
You were aware of the first deployment of the taser because did you hear it and then you kind of saw it?
I did it.
You did.
Yeah.
So units deployed.
Yeah.
Your Honor, is he just gonna talk through
I want to make sure I'm clear on what he said.
Okay, so if you can approach, you can approach.
Okay, I think we left off. You're aware of the first taser deployment.
Yes.
Now you say you're aware he was holding his thumb. You saw the red. You were able to see the red on the taser when he was holding it underneath him.
Yes.
Even at that late stage, you were aware the passenger was outside the car yelling at him.
From the video.
From the video?
Correct. At that point in time, I was just focused on.
Okay, we're going to go back to your written statement.
Yeah.
This is, well, you said
No,
from
no,
the
no.
video.
I did. Yes. If I can explain.
So yours,
I used the video to write the statement. Is what I'm saying.
so then what you wrote isn't exactly accurate. So you're basing some of the stuff you wrote on after watching the video, and you didn't really remember that, is what you're saying now?
I would say I was more focused on.
Because you're clearly right. You heard the passenger in your statement, but now you're saying you.
Yeah. No. I know he came out earlier. I think what you're discussing is later.
But then you're aware you couldn't hear the sirens coming to help even at that late stage.
No.
You're aware of that for sure.
I couldn't hear sirens.
And even at the time when you took time to fire that fatal shot, you were aware of the background. I took a look to make sure the background was clear.
I wrote it like a police report. Yeah.
But I mean, wrote like a police report, but
Yeah. Going in that direction. Yeah. To imply that. Yeah.
so one of the things you can't train, you're not supposed to shoot if there's people around. You may hit somebody else. So you
Correct. Yep.
Before you had time, you were focused. You knew that you could fire that shot because there's nobody there because you're basically looking at the ground, right?
It was going to be in a safe direction. Yeah.
At no point in time was Patrick ever on top of you.
No.
At no point in time, once again, he never said he was going to kill you, right?
No.
Never said he was going to hit you.
No.
Never said he was going to kick your butt or do anything bad to you.
Not that I recall. No.
This entire incident, he was trying to get away from you.
Up until the end,
When you were on top of him, right?
I was on top of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was trying to push himself up,
Yes.
and you thought he was going to turn the taser on.
That's what I believed. Yes.
That's what you believed.
Yes.
But even the taser's not going to kill you, right?
My impression is that it can cause death or serious bodily injury.
Okay. It's going to cause death. You were tased, right?
Yes.
You're still here talking to us.
Yes.
You watch people in the recruit class get tased. They all survived. In fact, nobody even got hurt, right? You didn't get hurt.
I didn't.
They didn't get hurt.
No.
So it's one of those things, it's always possible, but in your experience, you've never known anybody to be killed by a taser.
I don't have personal experience with someone getting
Nope.
killed by a taser.
Do you have any personal experience that you've been working for Grand Rapids Police for 7 years?
Mhm.
Any time where a police officer was seriously injured by a taser?
Not that I'm aware of.
No police officers in Grand Rapids Police were killed by a taser.
Not that I'm aware of.
Once again, though, in your written statement, you didn't say you were afraid of getting shot by the taser. Didn't you tell in your written statement that you were afraid you were going to get tased and then he was going to go after your gun?
I would say I don't remember what it's in the written statement, but
You can take a look
Yeah.
at it.
So, what is your question
The
exactly?
question was, is that your feeling, when you wrote this, you didn't say you thought the taser was going to kill you, you thought you were going to be incapacitated, and then he was going to grab your gun, right?
I think in the written statement, I think I said that it can cause serious bodily injury or death, just the taser, the use of it by itself, but the other part of it is, yeah, it would gain him access to my firearm.
That was your main concern, he was going to access your firearm, right?
I would say both are my concern. I don't know, in that situation, I don't know where it's going to get deployed. If it's deployed in a sensitive area, yeah,
At
it
no
could
point in
cause.
time did he ever go for your gun, did he?
No,
He never put his hand on your gun,
not that I recall.
he never touched your gun.
Not that I recall.
Not that you recall, it seems like you watched the video,
Yeah,
you did a written statement,
yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying.
that never happened. So the only reason he did it is because he grabbed your taser.
No,
He had
because
control of your taser,
I shot him because I believed he was going to use it on me.
because he had your taser.
Because I
That's
was
the only thing you
afraid that he was going to use it on
But
me.
that's the only thing he did, was he had possession of it. He never pointed at you?
He started to turn up towards me, and I felt if I didn't respond at that time, I wouldn't be here.
Sure, and he's not here, is he?
No, he's not.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. George, you need direct?
Please. I think the question was asked that Mr. Loyola never said he was going to hurt you with the, all throughout, correct?
I believe that was a question.
Yes, and did he ever say he was going to hurt you?
I don't recall really, in the struggle, I don't recall anything. He said, I know he said things, but I don't remember what was said exactly.
But did he fight with you for almost 3 minutes?
Yeah,
Is that abnormal in your experience in police work?
yes.
What is that often indicative of?
Typically that person's trying to escape from some greater crime. That's my impression.
And Mr. Loyola fought with you for 3 minutes, almost 3 minutes. And did he fight for possession of your taser?
Yes.
Is that, I think the prosecutor asked about something that was mentioned in your statement about, you wrote in your statement, Mr. Loyola put his hand on the taser and pushed it away so the probes wouldn't hit him, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Was that your reference very early on in the struggle?
Yeah.
But at some point, it went from pushing to pulling, correct?
Correct.
To the point that exclusive control by Mr. Loyola of the taser, correct?
Correct.
This mention of a statement, Chris, is it fair to say after this episode, and even over a few years, this has been a pretty traumatic experience?
Yes.
And with no disrespect to the Loyola family either, because obviously it's difficult for them too, but for you as well.
Yes.
And have you needed a considerable amount of assistance with your trauma?
I guess I'm going to have to object. What's the relevance?
I'm asking him as far as what his memory is now that he's being confronted with 3 years later.
I'll overrule it for now.
Has this been difficult?
Yes.
Has your memory been, has it been difficult as far as putting it out of your head, having it back in your head, having this video thrown into the equation?
I would say so, yeah.
But back at the time of this statement, there was a lot going on prior to that statement. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say.
And did you want to be cooperative with the state police?
I did.
And you're a police officer, you're used to writing a police report, correct?
Correct.
And based on everything going on,
Was it important to take a look at your video to try to make as thorough of an explanation as you could of what had taken place?
Yes.
So you did view the video just like the rest of the public viewed the video, correct?
Yes.
And you put together and tried to explain things as best as you can. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say.
So when you're confronted with, well, you said you used a forearm, but you never said, now you don't remember using a forearm. Do you remember every detail of what happened or what might be on that video?
I don't. No.
Is that how your mind's working on this?
Yeah.
We talked about sprints and workouts. Is a physical fight different than sprints or going to the gym or even college athletics 12 years earlier, 10 years earlier?
Yeah, they're significantly different.
And really, people don't know that until they've been in that type of physical combat situation.
Correct.
And did it feel different on this occasion now that you're fighting over a live weapon?
I'd say so.
As far as disengaging, generally your training, I believe it's laid out in several of the materials, are you trained to go all out to try to apprehend persons?
Yes.
And if you're not able to move it up to some other level of force if it's reasonable. Is that right?
That's correct.
And here, did you move up to a taser when nothing else is working?
Yes.
And you had done that in the past, correct?
Correct.
And it was effective?
Correct.
This topic of, were you afraid he was gonna tase you and get at your duty belt and kill you, or direct the probes or drive stun in a location? Were you trained in either manner? Were you warned in either manner to be fearful of something like that?
Yes.
And is that coming right from the manufacturer?
I believe so.
And is
Yes.
that coming right from general training to police officers on the realities of what can happen if somebody gets your taser and uses it on you?
Yes.
So in your mind, you're just going off of what you're
I
trained.
don't have to object. He's leading. He's been leading the whole time. I'm trying to give him some leeway.
I can rephrase. In your mind, are you going off of what you've been trained on the device and what may happen if somebody takes the device from you?
Yes.
Had Mr. Loyola been able to get up on several prior occasions already, and had he been turning towards you,
Yes.
and at the final moment here, what was different? What did he have that was now different?
He had a dangerous weapon.
I could just have one moment here.
One more question.
As we'll follow with that. He turned towards you on at least 2 occasions, right? At the door, the initial stop, right? You went to put his hands on you. You put his hands on him, right?
I did.
Okay, he put his hands on you, and he spun and turned, right?
Correct.
He was facing you.
Yep.
Didn't throw a punch.
Yeah, I just slap my hand off.
Slap
yeah,
your hand.
yeah, not yeah.
Get away.
Yep.
That's what he did. Slap your hand, get away.
Correct.
So the other time, so then he fell down, or not fell down, you tackled him down,
Yes.
picked him up, or he got up and walking with you on his back away.
Well, he was able to get up after I tackled him. There was
Mm-hmm.
some up down there, but eventually we get to that
So that was
we get to that point you're discussing.
Sure.
Yes.
But that was the only time he got up in this incident, really, right? After being
no,
knocked out.
What I just described.
Yeah.
The
Sure,
the
yeah.
couple. Yep.
The one time he got up. That was the one time he got up.
No, he got up once, and then he got up again, and that's where we're up to what you're talking about. Unless you're just calling the one time before.
The tackle.
Tackle. Then he got up.
He pushed himself up.
Yep.
So you're walking away. You're holding on to him.
No.
Oh, that's okay.
I tackled him. He got it.
How about we'll go to the
Yeah.
video, so we're all on the same page.
Yep.
Which one are you going to?
This is going to be Exhibit 3, Your Honor. Can we get it right a little closer to 216 in. Try this.
No, no, no. Stop. Stop. Disengage. Stop.
So that's the number one, that's what we're talking about. Turned away. Spun around, turned away.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm there.
Didn't punch you, didn't kick you, didn't do anything. Just spun,
Correct.
gave you a little shove.
Correct. Yep.
1915. Got one running. 45. Stop.
You know, speed it ahead a little bit.
So
Stop. 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 You turn left behind your back. Left behind your back. Turn your behind your back. $19.50. Sign the floor card.
Okay, so now he stood up now, right?
yes.
He stood up, you're on his back.
Yes. I think what you're asking me was what I was trying to. I guess maybe I didn't understand the question.
That's fine. This is-
But he had gotten up before that, is what I'm saying.
He didn't get all the way up. He started to push his way up, right? When did he? Let's go to
You might need a different camera
Yep.
angle because sometimes when you're at different angles, it.
we're chasing him here. This is now Exhibit 2. Tackle. So that's where you're talking about he gets up there?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
what I'm
he gets
saying.
up there.
Yeah, that's.
All right, fair enough.
Yep.
But once again, he gets up there, he didn't swing at you, didn't kick you.
Correct.
Doing there.
Yes.
I'm going to go. You can catch it here, so let's move that. So now here, you're standing up, and this is the other time he turns towards you, right?
Yeah.
So he
Yes.
turns towards you then. Once again, he doesn't hit you,
Correct.
doesn't
No.
kick you,
No.
doesn't throw an elbow at you,
No.
doesn't try and headbutt you.
No.
He spins around, and nothing happened. He doesn't get beat. He's not aggressive at all.
I wouldn't say it's still aggressive manner. His fists are clenched. It would be perceived as we're trained as active aggression. That's
It's active aggression at this point.
yeah. Which but he didn't throw what I would constitute as and what you're saying as a punch or a strike or something of that
At
nature.
this point in time, he grabs the taser and moves it away by your own statement. He moves away so he doesn't get tased.
Yes.
I have nothing further.
But he may have actually been able to get up at least a few times. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say.
going to the moment where you ultimately use deadly force here. This individual had fought with you, and follow up to this, for approximately, did he fight with you for almost 3 minutes?
I don't remember. Yeah, somewhere around that time frame.
And I believe you've discussed already, why do individuals normally fight police to avoid capture this long?
My perception is there's got to be something pretty significant they don't want to be arrested for.
Did you know what that was at that time?
No.
Now, he got up on the other occasions and did not appear to at least strike you, is that right?
Yeah, not correct.
But on this final moment where he's getting up,
Yeah.
is that different? Is this time different?
Yeah, in my mind, it's an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury. At that point, I'm not afforded the opportunity to wait and see what he does with it, to see what happens to me. I'm not given that opportunity.
Because do you know what his intentions are at that time?
I don't.
Do you know why he's fought that hard with you to avoid arrest?
I don't.
Do you know why he would fight that hard to take full control of a dangerous weapon?
I don't.
And as he's turning towards you, would you be expected to wait and see? I'm going to wait and see what he does with it.
I wasn't trained to do that.
No further questions.
First, is the safety on the taser an on-off switch, or does it need to be held in the on position?
Good question. It's called a safety switch. It's an on-off. It's like a light switch. So it was on. I switched it on. It actually is some tension. I don't know the amount of weight to turn it on or off, but once it's on, it's on. It takes actual decent amount of physical pressure to shut it off.
And next, does writing a statement or a police report require you to write in the moment of the incident or for accuracy of what happened?
I think I get what.
Was right in the moment.
Yeah, I would. All right, if I answer that, I think I know what they're. If I understand the question correctly, I feel like there's I guess what I've been trained to do, there's kind of a difference in some part of it you're using the video, and then parts they have you just kind of go more or less off your memory for different various portions.
And the next question, in the beginning of the video, when the subject assaulted you prior to running away, at that time, is it okay within GRPD policy to use a taser prior to the tackle or in place of the tackle?
So that's kind of a loaded. To answer that, the strike could potentially justify under GRPD policy the use of the taser. However, using it on a subject that's running away, causing them to lock up and fall, especially around concrete vehicles, they hit their head, they could die using it or applying it in that manner, if that answers that question. So typically we're not trained to use it on someone who's running.
Well, the question asked about prior to running away, so as you
Oh, prior,
established that
well,
you were on concrete, so.
Well, I think he starts to run at that point. So
Well, the
I
question
think-
is prior, in the beginning, when the subject assaulted you prior to running away, at that time, is it okay?
Oh, prior to running, actually physically running. I would say yes, but the amount of time it takes me to get my radio out, he's already running at that point. So then we're in that same situation that I was discussing, if that makes sense. I think it would be petty to deploy a taser for what he did. That, for me, that's my opinion, based on just that information.
And next, did you feel at any time prior to you presenting and deploying your taser that the subject was trying to grab or obtain the taser or any other weapons on your belt?
Was the question prior to?
Did you feel at any time prior to you presenting and deploying your taser, the subject was trying to grab or obtain the taser or any other weapons on your belt?
Prior to deploying the taser, I didn't feel as though he was trying to grab any weapons.
Next, do you recall being able to smell alcohol on Mr. Leolia during your first interactions?
No.
Next, when you say you saw the taser being held as a handgun by Leolia, did you prioritize attempting to press on the safety or to turn the safety off or to remove the taser?
The entire goal was to get the taser back. I couldn't get it back. The only thing I could potentially get my fingertips on was the safety at that point.
I know I asked about alcohol during your first interaction, but at any point did you notice he was under the influence?
I didn't smell it or notice it in those moments. Based on his actions, I would believe it, but I wouldn't just say because of him not responding to some of the tactics automatically means that he was under the influence. So I guess the answer is no.
Next, when you write a statement or a police report, what is the process?
Depends on the report. If it's a more involved report, we'll review video as much as we can and then type it. And it might go back and forth.
Do you require running through new scenarios each time a new model taser is introduced?
You definitely do different you do scenarios when you get a new taser, for sure. However, when it might be the same scenario, when we switched to the new model, the bigger thing was the effectiveness at close range because of the design of the cartridges itself. So, and we didn't have to worry, the way the cartridges were designed were better for close. We didn't have to. I don't want to get into the actual design because I can't remember the original taser. I hardly remember the one that I used in this, but the big thing was it was more effective at close range and to train to use it in that manner.
Next is, why do you shoot Mr. Leolia in the head?
I wouldn't say that I was necessarily aiming per se. I only had essentially a viewpoint of his upper back and head area. I deployed my handgun and fired it in that direction. It ended up striking his head.
And it's when is running a license plate allowed? Is driving too slow reason enough?
To my knowledge, we can just drive around and run license plates whenever we want. And to answer just driving too slow, I guess potentially driving too slow depending on the speed limit you're in. And I guess if you are exceedingly below the speed limit, yes, that is a traffic violation. That wasn't necessarily what I was stopping him for that day.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
None, Your Honor.
Any other questions from the jury? Doesn't look like it. So, may Mr. Schurr step down?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.